Hey guys, Foxtrot here doing a recap video for you guys today. With Season 3 ending and Season 4 on its way, I thought I'd take a look back and see what the best junglers were for this past year. So without any further ado, here are my top 5 junglers for Season 3. And number 5, we have Nasus. When Nasus was introduced to the jungle, it was really rather a surprise for a lot of people because his playstyle was very different from what we were used to seeing from a Nasus, where he would sit in top lane, farm, get loads of Q stacks, come out of that lane and just one-shot people in the late game. Jungle Nasus doesn't do any of that farming and his playstyle is rather different, but that didn't make him any less effective. It didn't take very long for Nasus to be recognised as one of the best junglers in the game. It was really only until his wither was nerfed that he was taken down from that spot. But even after that nerf, Nasus remained and still is today a very solid jungle pick. You can't really go too wrong when you're playing Nasus jungle. He's a very simple jungler. He's good at ganking, he's great at team fighting, and he can even solo dragon with his ultimate. And even after the aforementioned wither nerfs, he is still the bane of every AD carry's existence. Coming in at number 4, we have Mr. Blobby himself, Zac. Zac was dominant right from late March and was really only hit in his latest nerfs, which were in patch 3.10a in August. Zac was a very unique character and a very complete package. His range when engaging in ganks or initiates in teamfights is really unrivaled by any other jungler even today. He has pretty good clear speeds and he's got decent damage even when building full tank. He's great at teamfighting and has amazing sustain when he's picking up his blobs. He has multiple forms of decent CC and has no mana limitations whatsoever. And finally, he has an awesome passive. Those revive passives are very strong on junglers who are looking to be aggressive early. They give you an edge in things such as counter ganks and tower dives. For the third place spot, we have Vi. It took a little bit of time for Vi's popularity to really sink in, but once it did, she became very dominant. Vi's jungle excellence was unsurprisingly met with a nerf bat, and this, combined with the uprising of other junglers, meant that Vi fell out of favour. However, as the meta shifted and other junglers started to receive nerfs here and there, Vi became popular once again. She's very good synergy with the assassin mid-meta, and she's also very good at countering that meta as well. The reasons for this is that not only is she probably the best jungler for ganking mid lane with her Q and her ultimate, but she's also very good at shutting assassins down in team fights. Not only this, but she actually works very well with your own assassins, because if you can lock someone down, then that is the perfect opportunity for your own teammates to swoop in and take kills. Aside from that, she has great clear speed, she is very good at dueling, and she is amazing at ganking once she hits level 6. At number 2, we have a personal favourite of mine, Lee Sin. Now, Lee Sin always has and most probably always will be a king of the jungle, especially in solo queue. He was actually very underrated by most Western teams for a lot of the season, with even people such as Prox, who's a very prolific Lee Sin player, saying that he thought Lee Sin was a bad champion. But despite this, he was unsurprisingly a heavy favourite from the Koreans throughout the whole season, and eventually his popularity started to kick in throughout the world. Lee Sin is famed for having a very high skill cap, but is also extremely rewarding if you put in the effort to learn him. If you're ever looking to play a jungler that can dice the enemy team just on their own, then Lee Sin's your man. Lee Sin has amazing ganks, great dueling, decent clearing, and he is really good at just causing trouble and being a nuisance. He does fall off a bit in team fights and in the late game, but he can still be very effective when displacing people with his ultimate. And at number 1, we have the personification of the current meta, the king of the bruisers, Jarvan. Jarvan has received numerous nerfs this season and he is still an exceptional champion. He is being globally utilised in both competitive play and solo queue, from the very start of the season all the way up to the World Finals in September. He really is the definition of a simple yet effective champion. He's not overly challenging to play and doesn't require a huge amount of mastery like someone like Lee Sin would, but he is still extremely rewarding to play. His ganking is very effective and straightforward, he has pretty decent clearing, he has great team fights and great initiation. He can be very dominant from his position throughout every single stage of the game. So now that my top 5 is done, I figured I would give some honourable mentions. Firstly, we have Elise, who is a great jungler. The reason why I didn't put her on this list is because she was originally considered a laner and really only became a jungler later on into the season when her nerfs became too much for her to be played in lane. Aatrox as well, if he was released earlier, then he would be on this list, but he really wasn't around long enough to make too much of an impact compared to the other junglers. Eve is also a very good champion, mostly thanks to her stealth, which makes her very unique and very deadly. And finally, we have Nocturne, who is always a great solo queue champion, although not necessarily as good in the competitive scene, but he is constantly a solid threat in the jungle. Thanks for watching, guys. I hope you enjoyed the list. If you did like it, feel free to give it a thumbs up, and also you can subscribe to me to learn how to be a better player and also how to be a better jungler, specifically in League of Legends. As always, you can find me on my Twitch, which is twitch.tv/foxshop. You can find me on my Twitter and my Facebook too, which are both /foxshoplol. And also, I want to ask you guys, if you disagree with anything in this list, what would your top 5 be for Season 3? But thank you very much for watching, guys, and I'll see you in my next video.